impossible to tell the story of the narcotics trade in Mexico without telling the story of the Guadalajara cartel and Felix Gallardo and Enrique Camarena, which takes place from 1980 to 1985.
Back in the mid-'80s, they had like brown marijuana, which wasn't very potent, wasn't very strong, and there was no need for any major push. But now comes a different business altogether, and a different man in the form of Felix Gallardo.
He understood the value on being discreet in this world. He wanted to be seen more as a businessman than anything else.
He has a vision of creating an empire, and my character, they're all based off real life characters. He sees the empire being built right in front of his face, and he's trying to tell people about it, and they don't believe him. And he's so almost obsessed with trying to make it happen, trying to tell people that the boogeyman's out there, but nobody believes him. And so that's where the conflict starts, and that's where the obsession of tracking this man down comes.
To have a show that has worked as well as Narcos has, there's a high degree of difficulty after 3 seasons to come up with something totally new.
The subject matter is the same, the team is the same, but I think everything else is different.
The plan was always to go to Mexico. Because Narcos is not about any one trafficker or any one trafficking organization, nor is it about any one place, it's about cocaine. The evolution of the cocaine trade has moved the epicenter from Colombia to Mexico.
It's a parallel story to what you heard before, and they complement each other, obviously. But this is new cast, new story, new country.
Like, for instance, Pablo Escobar was a very big person, you know what I mean? And, Felix Gallardo was more of a businessman. And so there is a difference.
Visually it's very different, so I think audiences are going to be very happy and surprised and hooked to these new Narcos.
I'm a big fan of Indian cinema, and I think that the films that I really enjoy are the organized crime films. I love Gangs of Wasseypur and Company, and I think that like the United States, the Indian audience lives with a fair amount of corruption, and organized crime and these things that are part of our history. I'll say that as a longtime film producer and television writer and producer, I've never had something that has worked as well in India, which makes me very happy because it has its own cinema, it's a proud tradition, it has its own television, and so to be able to have produced a show that appeals to as sophisticated an audience as the Indian audience is a real feather in my cap. Narcos India. I think the problem with Narcos Russia is there's no conflict because they'd all be in on it together. There's no it's just I don't know who the good guy would be, but I think India would be fun.